Hey, this is Zoe Lang. This is my CE presentation for Mr. Wool's class. Before I start talking, let me tell you a little bit about myself.
And in the daylight we can hitchhike to Maine. I hope that someday I'll see without these frames. And in the daylight I don't pick up my phone, 'cause in the daylight anywhere feels like home. And in the daylight we can hitchhike to Maine. I hope that someday I'll see without these frames. And in the daylight I don't pick up my phone, 'cause in the daylight anywhere feels like home. And in the daylight we can hitchhike to Maine. I hope that someday I'll see without these frames. And in the daylight I don't pick up my phone, 'cause in the daylight anywhere feels like home. And in the daylight we can hitchhike to Maine. I hope that someday I'll see without these frames. And in the daylight I don't pick up my phone, 'cause in the daylight anywhere feels like home. And in the daylight we can hitchhike to Maine. I hope that someday I'll see without these frames. And in the daylight I don't pick up my phone, 'cause in the daylight anywhere feels like home. And in the daylight we can hitchhike to Maine. I hope that someday I'll see without these frames. And in the daylight I don't pick up my phone, 'cause in the daylight anywhere feels like home.
So now that you know a little bit more about me, I'm going to talk about how CE has taught me about my future and tell you what my future plans are. So to start off, for my personal plan, the development plan, I did it mostly on getting scouted for volleyball and getting a volleyball scholarship. Now, it's always been my dream to play volleyball in college, and although it may seem easy, just practice your skills, be really good, and coaches will be interested in you, there's actually a lot more in the process than just doing your best. So the personal plan has really helped me to understand what exactly I need to do. I have to email coaches, I have to get my own stats put together, put a highlight film put together to send to them so they can see my skills without necessarily flying to a tournament to watch me, and just really help to make coaches interested in me by what I have to offer as of my numbers and my abilities and the stuff I can show them, what they can actually see. And not only that, I have to prepare myself mentally, physically, and even in my diet. I went to a nutrition seminar and I learned a lot about how your diet can make so much change in the way you play, and since then I've been really eating healthier, and I find myself having so much energy when it comes to practices and conditioning. So that's one thing that has really helped me that I learned. Another thing is that coaches aren't going to come to me. I have to go to coaches. I went to a recruiting seminar and a lot of what they said was there's just a lot of competition in volleyball nowadays. Like it's hasn't always been such a big sport and such a popular sport for girls, but nowadays it is. There's so many teams, like just in our region there's about 200 teams, so to get recruited is a lot harder process now than it may have been earlier before. So I've been taking on the stress of knowing that, and also just continuing to send out emails, ready myself for the college level of play, and hope that that's in my future. I understand that it may not be. I mean, I've always dreamt of it, but if God has a different plan for me, then God has a different plan for me. I'm open and ready to take on whatever the future holds. One part of my plan was not only looking at colleges for the volleyball aspect of it, but also looking at it for the psychology aspect of it. I'm really interested in psychology, and I'm really excited to get to college and be able to start learning about that and studying that. So part of my plan was not only looking at colleges and going straight to the athletic page, clicking on volleyball and checking out the roster and the coaches and the stats of the players, but also going and checking out the school's psychology programs and really deepening my understanding of what different schools have to offer academically and not just athletically. I think it's always been more of my focus to look at the athletics, but the plan has really helped me to understand that after college I'm obviously not going to go be some crazy good USA national team volleyball player. I'm going to want to settle down with a family and start a career with psychology major that I plan to get. And so doing this plan has really helped me to understand that I have to look further into the future. At first I was like, Mr. Wolf, like why do we have to go way far into our future? Like why should we even be thinking of this right now? But now I understand that it put things into perspective, that even though what you want to focus on right now may be fun and exciting, you have to look at the bigger picture and say, okay, isn't as important, and I have to look at other aspects of the decisions that I'm making. So I've really put into perspective the whole academic side of deciding on what college to go to. I'm really excited. I'm set on a 4-year university. I've been doing Running Start the last few years, so it's possible. I'm hoping that I can end high school with a whole year under my belt, which would be great. Save money and really get me going on my major really soon. I'll have all my prerequisites done, and I can just jump in and start studying up for a career someday. So I'm really excited about that. The biggest picture for me is just that I love volleyball. I'm doing all I can to get recruited, but if I'm not recruited, if that doesn't happen, it's not the end of the world, and I still have stuff to look forward to because I'm going to study psychology. I'm going to study something I'm interested in. I'm going to meet lots of friends, have experiences I'll remember for my whole life, and then who knows, maybe I'll find my husband in college, I'll settle down, I'll get married, have children. I mean, my main love in life, I've always seen myself as a mother and a housewife and just loving on my husband and my kids and raising them up just like my mom did for me. She did an awesome job. I couldn't have asked for a better mom, and she's been such a great role model for me. I've always seen myself in that same position. So although I'm looking at scholarships now, but realizing I have to look at academics for the future, now even more I'm thinking apart from academics, like I'm so excited to go see who God has for me for my future so I can get that part started. It's just all really exciting for me. It might be stressful right now, but looking at the big picture, it just makes me really excited for what the future has to offer.